Hey YouTube, Drew the Shed here. I'm going to be showing you something a little special. As you can see behind me, there is a rather large big metal contraption. Right now I am in Deer Lodge, Montana. Deer Lodge, Montana used to be a rather important railroad town. It had passenger service for both the Milwaukee Road and Northern Pacific Railroads, as well as a rather large freight yard for the time for the Milwaukee Road. Unfortunately, that freight yard was torn out and there's nothing left of it anymore. But there are 3 pieces of equipment left from the Milwaukee Road in Deer Lodge. 2 locomotives and a caboose. So I'm going to tease you a little bit because right now one of the locomotives is behind me, but we're going to go take a look at the caboose first. So this is one of the Milwaukee Road's cabooses. As you can see, it's numbered 992185. Nothing too spectacular as far as a caboose goes. It is a little bit different than the traditional caboose that you would expect to see, but it was very reminiscent of the era that when cabooses were used. So now, without further ado, I will show you the 2 locomotives. Alright, so the first locomotive we're looking at here is a General Electric E70. Now these locomotives are better known as Little Joes. And the reason why that is because they were contracted by the USSR in 1946. However, as many of you know, in 1946, the relationship between the United States and USSR quickly deteriorated. And with that, General Electric was forced to have a decision on what to do with these locomotives. Now, the scale they use in USSR for rail traffic, the scale being the width of the tracks, is slightly different. So what they had to do, from my understanding, was put different tracks on a different width of the trucks, and that being the part that carries the wheels, so that they could be used on United States railways. And one of those 20 locomotives, well, at least one, was bought by the Milwaukee Road for use up in Montana. It is an absolutely beautiful locomotive, and by looking at it, it's something that you would say, yeah, it looks like the 40s, but really it's a classic piece. Its lines are absolutely beautiful, as you can see. Now we'll go around and we'll get a shot from the front, what it would look like coming out. So as you can see here, there is an F. That F denotes front. Now that is US law on all locomotives, that there has to be an F at the front of the locomotive. The reason that is when electrics like this and diesel locomotives, it was hard to tell the front of them, as opposed to a steam locomotive where it was very easy to tell which was the front. Now this is the front of the E70 made by General Electric. A very, very beautiful locomotive. Now, if we turn a little bit, we can see the other locomotive on display here in Deer Lodge, and that is an E936A made by the EMD Corporation. Now, in my opinion, the E series of locomotives made by EMD is probably one of the most beautiful locomotives ever made. This locomotive has a little bit of my heart because when I was growing up and I had a model railroad, a toy train set, and now it wasn't the Milwaukee Road, it was Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, better known as the ATSF. I had an E8 with that. So this is just one step up from the E8. And like I said, in my opinion, the most beautiful locomotive that has ever been made. These were used very extensively in the United States throughout the 1960s, both for freight traffic and passenger traffic. This is the A unit which has the controls where the engineer and the conductor would be. There is a B unit to this locomotive set, and what the B unit is just another locomotive that is controlled remotely from the cab and has no cab on its own. All right, so now we're at the back of the E936A, and this is where I'm going to leave you for now. And as you can see, I very much love trains. And there is another YouTuber, another member of the YTPC that loves trains as well, and that being Matches. I hope he sees this video. But until I see you guys again, this is Drew of the Shed. Be kind and good to each other.